Did everybody see that great rainbow yesterday? Yeah, that was for you.
For you?
Yeah. I live here in Asheville, so I appreciate the things that you love about it too. It's a beautiful place. You hit it right on the nail with why I'm here first, because I wanted to talk about the inner being. I've heard a lot of times to talk about your inner being knows before maybe your conscious human self knows. Is that correct?
It is, because your inner being has a lot of knowing and has held knowing that maybe you haven't caught up with. But even more important than that, as you've lived life, you have asked for more than you currently are letting yourself acknowledge. And every time you ask for more, your inner being knows that too, because you are a vibrational being. Esther's mother is on her mind today. She thought about her when she was waking up. And another thing that her mother used to say on a really regular basis is, listen to what I mean, not what I say. Because she would get her words tangled up, and her daughters would laugh at her, knowing that she didn't really mean to say that. And she would say, you know what I mean, listen to what I mean, not to what I say. And her mother was wiser than Esther knew at the time, because that's what we mean also. The universe is listening to what you mean, not to what you say. So life causes you to ask for things that you may not be speaking out loud, or life causes you to desire things that your beliefs may be in contradiction of. But your inner being knows what you mean and becomes what you mean, becomes what you vibrationally mean. And so that's what we mean by that, is that there is a vibrational reality that is known by your inner being, and eventually will be known by you if you will care about being happy and follow the happy thoughts. Following happy thoughts will lead you to what your inner being already knows about what you want. That's what we meant by that.
Right. So in psychological terms, I always thought inner being would be part of the deep well of subconscious and the superconscious. It's the inspiration,
well,
the emotional
before you go
stuff.
too far with that, deep well meaning lots of knowledge,
and lots of vibration and ideas,
yes,
creativity. Yeah.
But do you also mean hard to access?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
In fact, most psychologists before the law of attraction came mainstream would say there's so much that when it comes to the surface of the small conscious mind, now you're in alignment. And you've often said, if you're not in alignment with your inner being knows when.
Your inner being understands where you are in relationship to where you'd like to be, and knows what your path of least resistance is. We are eager to have this conversation with you. We like where you're going with this. We want to add just a little prelude to that by introducing to this conversation the notion, the idea of the blending of where you have come from to where you are to where you are going. Because what you've introduced with these important words and human understandings is that when you're born into an environment, that environment already is acknowledging life from a certain lens. In other words, you're born into a set of beliefs, and when you're born into a set of beliefs, your observation of those people who are believing those things, because of law of attraction, because people get what they believe. So when they believe it, they attract it, and when they attract it, they demonstrate it. And when you observe this demonstration of their beliefs, those beliefs become your beliefs when they didn't have to. So that's why it's sort of slow going for so many humans. Slow going to go from what is to what you prefer, because a belief is just a thought that you continue to think. But you're introducing here, what about beliefs that I'm continuing to think that I don't even know that I'm continuing to think? What about these unconscious beliefs? What about these things that I just picked up that I just accept as that's the way that it is? And what we would like to say right here at the beginning of this important conversation is that anything that you, never mind where you've come from, while it's all good and we're glad you came from it, Never mind where you came from, and never mind what they believed or what they handed off to you in terms of beliefs. Never mind that for just a moment. Instead, see yourself as standing where you are on your way to what you so beautifully introduced with your first words here today. Standing here on your way to the even more that you've become, so that rather than considering these beliefs that brought you here, if your emphasis could be upon where you're going from here, these beliefs would have less holding you back effect from your evolution that you want. Does that make sense to you? It's a looking forward sort of thing that we'll talk a lot about while we are together. So we just want to stick this one statement in, and then we want to hear more from you. When you're standing where you are and reaching for something more, that's when your emotions really kick in. And your emotions are the visceral, your feeling indicators of the vibrational variance in you, kind of resistance indicators. So if you have a belief, doesn't matter how long you've had it or if you just hatched it, because it's easy to come to flawed, erroneous conclusions all day long. You don't need your mother to do that. So as you come to a belief about something, something's active in you that you're thinking about, and your inner being knows that it isn't what you mean. It isn't what you mean. It isn't where you're going. It's not who you really are, and it doesn't serve you. Then your emotional indicator is going to be one of negative emotion. And if it is in harmony with who you really are and where you're going, it's going to be one of positive emotion. So if you're feeling emotion about it, it's not buried deep. It's not subconscious or unconscious. If you're feeling emotion about it, it matters. And we're going to add another powerful statement. Ready? Only if you're feeling emotion about it does it matter. Because if you're not feeling any emotion about it, it's not a big player in your vibrational mix. Which leads us to the next important thing. We're here to wake you up so you'll feel your emotions, because you feel them and don't like them, so you pretend you don't feel them. And Esther's mother wants to say to you, we know what you mean. In other words, law of attraction is not missing what your vibrational mix is. So that sounds like, even if you don't know, it's part of your point of attraction. Well, of course it is. Everything's part of your attraction, but it's not a big player. That's what we want you to hear. It's not a big player. If you're feeling emotion around it, it really matters. If you're not, don't worry, it'll get bigger. And when it gets bigger, then it's a player, and then you can do something about it. And until then, we wouldn't spend too much time wondering what's going on.
Yeah. Inspiration comes so deep and so quickly and so rapidly for me. Sometimes I have to turn it down.
Why?
It's the belief that there's not enough days in the hour. It's the belief that I can't do all the things I'm going to do. So we're going to put that aside right now, because I'm going to make the next part of this an intention.
Well, if we were standing in your physical shoes, we wouldn't slough that off so easily, because those are not unconscious things that are hindering you. Those are conscious things that are hindering
Well, let's
you.
talk about it then.
I've got too much to do. That's a conscious belief that hinders you. And then because you believe it and it's active, the universe just delivers more and more and more to you, which you believe even more and more. So you consciously and deliberately hold yourself back from your greatest joy, moment by moment by moment.
So if I send out an invitation, or send out rockets of desire for the list of things I want to expand to right now, does the inner being audit or sometimes say yes, but not now? Does the...
Oh, your inner being isn't your gatekeeper.
No, is not.
No, no, no,
Note
no.
to self,
You
don't
are...
blame mom. It's not your gatekeeper.
It's just the mix of vibrations that you've got going on. It's sort of like, this is a really bulky way to say it, but it'll be easy to hear. That's like so many people that are wanting to control so many people through religion, and they will tell you, you can't tell while you're here all of the judgment comes, good and bad, once you've reemerged into non-physical. Well, of course, nothing about that is accurate in any way, because all of that punishment or reward is self-inflicted, and you allow it right here in the moment of your emotions. So the reason that we offer that analogy is because there is no gatekeeper. There's just you letting yourself really be you to the furthest extent that you've allowed yourself to be, or not. And it doesn't mean that there are not infinite non-physical, what you want to call angels and source and well-being that is rooting for you. There is all of that, but there is no gatekeeper. There's no one, there's no gate. There's no gate from which you should be held away from. There's no gate that's open to let you in, and there's no gate that's closed to keep you out. It's just you letting yourself move toward who you really are or not. You are your own gatekeeper. You are your own gate, and you have emotions that let you know about that. And sometimes people feel insecure about that, because there is a certain security that people find from an insecure place that goes like this: I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know really for sure what's right or wrong, for sure, because I'm kind of mixed up, because so many people who have tried to guide me have different opinions about what that is. So I really don't know for sure what's right and wrong, but I like the notion that someone really knows, and that if they think I'm doing my best, then they will like my performance, and then I will be rewarded. And so we get it, that you want someone to look and judge and evaluate and give you a result. We get how you want that, but there's no gatekeeper.
The amount of progress I've seen since your last year in September. We talked about focusing out of pain. We talked about my mystic work, my dowsing. I'm a medium, I'm an artist. And that has expanded. And the conversation I've had with you for years about ill health is, it's gone.
May we ask you a quick question? Can you hold that
thought?
thought?
Yeah.
We want that thought. Does it feel to you that the expansion that you are describing, which is vivid and real and wonderful, does it feel to you that the expansion is more a product of your letting go of resistance and letting yourself move toward what was in your vibrational reality or your vortex? Does it feel like you've let go of resistance and moved to what you had already stored up? Or does it feel like you're launching more rockets?
More rockets.
And is it beginning to feel to you that as you're launching the rockets, you're right with them as you're launching them? Does it feel to you that you are launching a rocket with less gap between where you are and where you're going, because you've come to expect, you've come to allow, you've come to accept the rightness of you getting to choose?
I'm having so much joy just putting it in the vortex and visualizing it. It almost doesn't flippin' matter if it comes in the 3D world. I'm in that place of loving the vortexual vibration.
There's a big question that we are asking you
I want to answer that, because I said about, the rockets are new, but the old rockets are on board too. So there's like a whole army of rockets.
So that
going
continuity is there.
Yeah.
But the question that we want to activate for your benefit here in this very leading edge conversation is, as you feel the satisfaction of that new, does it feel to you like somehow you've found a way, through understanding of how this all works, to give yourself the permission to be unlimited?
Yeah.
It's that open-endedness, and because you're there, we can feel that you are, because you're there, now you are truly source energy in a 3D world. But don't play down the 3D world.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Because you're a teacher to the core of your being, and you've come into this leading edge, which does manifest into see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. And something that is allowed to manifest fully is a further allowing than something that you've just dreamed.